The fog rolled in thick that October night, swallowing the streetlights whole. I'd taken the shortcut through the old district, the one locals avoided after dark, because my phone had died and I just wanted to get home. The mist clung to everything, muffling sounds, turning familiar streets foreign. That's when I heard it, crying. Not the wailing of a child or the sobbing of someone hurt. This was different, delicate, almost musical, like wind through broken glass. I stopped walking, my breath forming clouds in the cold air. Hello? My voice disappeared into the fog. The crying stopped, then started again, softer, from somewhere to my left. Against every instinct screaming at me to keep walking, I followed the sound down a narrow alley between two abandoned shops. She was kneeling on the wet pavement, a figure hunched over herself like she was trying to fold into nothing. At first, I thought the fog was playing tricks, making her hair shimmer silver white, making shadows form strange shapes above her head. But as I got closer, the shapes didn't disappear. Fox ears. Actual fox ears pressed flat against her skull in distress, and behind her, a thick silver tail wrapped so tightly around her body that I could see her trembling. I'm not going to hurt you, I said quietly, crouching down a few feet away. She looked up, and I saw her face, young, devastatingly beautiful, with amber eyes that glowed faintly in the darkness. Tear tracks streaked down her cheeks. Those eyes widened when she saw me, and she immediately tried to scramble backward. Please don't look at me, she whispered, her voice breaking. Just walk away. Everyone does eventually. The fog around us began to swirl strangely, forming patterns that didn't match the wind. It moved toward her like it was drawn by invisible threads, thickening around her protectively. I'm not everyone, I said, shrugging off my jacket. The temperature had dropped significantly, and she was wearing nothing but a thin white dress that looked like it belonged to another era. I held the jacket out to her. You're freezing. She stared at the jacket like it was a foreign object, her fox ears twitching forward slightly. Why? She asked, confusion mixing with suspicion. You don't know what I am, what I've done. I know you're cold and alone, I replied simply. That's enough. Her amber eyes filled with fresh tears, but this time they weren't tears of despair. Slowly, hesitantly, she reached for the jacket. The moment her fingers brushed the fabric, something changed in the air. The fog suddenly pulled back from us, forming a perfect circle of clarity in the midst of the swirling mist. And my left hand began to burn. I yanked my sleeve up to see a glowing mark appearing on my skin, an intricate pattern of swirling lines and symbols that looked like ancient calligraphy mixed with constellation maps. It pulsed with soft golden light. The foxwoman gasped, staring at my hand in shock. No, she breathed. That's impossible. The Guardian Bond. It hasn't appeared in 3 centuries. What's happening? I asked, though part of me already knew. Something irreversible had just occurred. She looked at me with wonder and fear mixing in equal measure. You saved me, she whispered, and now we're bound. She stood slowly, my jacket draped over her shoulders, and the fog continued to swirl around us in that perfect, protective circle. Up close, she was even more striking, the fox ears twitching at every sound, her silver tail finally unwinding from around her body, and those amber eyes studying me with an intensity that made my heart race. I'm Renjiro, I said, trying to ground this surreal moment in something normal. What's your name? Kaya, she answered softly, her gaze dropping to the mark still glowing on my hand. That symbol means you're my guardian now, whether you want it to be or not. What does that mean exactly? She took a tentative step closer, and I could smell something floral and wild on her, like jasmine and pine mixed together. It means your life is tied to mine. You'll feel what I feel. When I'm in danger, you'll know. She hesitated, a flush creeping across her pale cheeks. When I'm experiencing strong emotions, you'll sense them too. All emotions? I asked, something in her tone making me wonder what she wasn't saying. Kaya's ears flattened slightly. All of them, she confirmed quietly. The Guardian Bond was created centuries ago by my ancestors. It was meant to protect powerful fox spirits who couldn't control their abilities yet. A human guardian could help stabilize them, anchor them to the physical world. And your abilities? I gestured to the fog still moving around us like a living thing. I can manipulate mist and moisture, she explained, holding out her hand. The fog condensed into droplets that danced across her palm like mercury. But I can't control it when my emotions are too strong. My clan said I was dangerous, that I'd bring harm to them if they kept me. So they... Her voice cracked. They left me here, told me not to follow. The casual cruelty of it made my chest tight with anger. That's horrible. They were protecting themselves, Kaya said, but I could hear the pain beneath her attempted rationality. I understand why. No, I interrupted firmly. You don't abandon family because they need help controlling their power. You help them learn. She looked at me like I'd said something in a foreign language. You really believe that? Of course I do. Kaya moved closer, close enough that I could see the faint silver patterns in her irises, like frost on a window. Why did you stop? She asked. Why didn't you just keep walking? Would you have? I countered. She considered this, her tail swishing thoughtfully behind her. No, she admitted, I wouldn't have. Then there's your answer. Something shifted in her expression, the fear and uncertainty giving way to something warmer. She reached up tentatively, her fingers hovering near my face. May I? She asked softly. I nodded, not entirely sure what she was asking permission for. Her fingertips touched my cheek, and suddenly I felt it, a rush of emotion that wasn't quite mine. Gratitude, wonder, relief, and underneath it all, something deeper. A connection forming like roots growing together. You can feel that? She whispered, her hand still against my skin. Yes, I breathed. The sensation was overwhelming but not unpleasant, like suddenly being able to hear a song you'd only felt vibrations of before. That's the bond, Kaya explained, her thumb brushing along my jaw in a way that sent shivers down my spine. It grows stronger the more time we spend together. Eventually you'll be able to sense where I am, what I need, even when we're apart. And you'll sense the same about me? Her amber eyes darkened slightly. Yes, including, she trailed off, biting her lip. Including what? Kaya's ears twitched, and she pulled her hand back, looking flustered. Including desire, she finished quietly. Physical desire. The bond doesn't distinguish between types of strong emotions. The air between us felt suddenly charged. I see, I managed. I should warn you, she continued, her voice barely above a whisper. Fox spirits experience emotions more intensely than humans, and when we bond with someone, that intensity, it can be overwhelming. My apartment was small but warm, a stark contrast to the cold fog we'd left behind. Kaya stood in the doorway, hesitant to cross the threshold, her tail wrapped loosely around her leg. The guardian mark on my hand had stopped glowing, but remained visible, the intricate patterns now a permanent part of my skin. You can come in, I assured her, flipping on the lights. I promise it's safe. She took a tentative step inside, her fox ears swiveling to take in every sound. The hum of the refrigerator, the distant traffic, the radiator clanking to life. I've never been in a human home before, she admitted, closing the door behind her. My clan always kept to the old shrine in the mountains. I grabbed some towels from the bathroom. You're soaked. Do you want a shower? I can find you something dry to wear. Kaya accepted the towels but looked uncertain. I don't want to impose more than I already have. You've done so much. Kaya, I interrupted gently. We're bonded now, right? That means taking care of you isn't an imposition. It's just what we do. Her eyes widened slightly, and I felt that strange echo of emotion again. Warmth spreading through my chest that wasn't entirely my own. She was touched by such a simple statement, I realized. How badly had her clan treated her? While she showered, I made tea and tried to process everything. A fox spirit, a mystical bond, the strange mark on my hand that looked like it belonged in a museum case rather than on my skin. 20 minutes ago, my biggest concern had been my dead phone battery. Now I was apparently the guardian of a supernatural being who could control fog, and whose emotions I could literally feel. Kaya emerged from the bathroom wearing one of my old university hoodies that hung to her mid-thigh, her silver hair damp and loose around her shoulders. Without the fog and tears, she was breathtaking. The fox ears perked up when she smelled the tea, and I noticed her tail swishing more contentedly now. "Thank you," she said, taking the mug I offered. We sat on the couch, and I watched as she curled her legs under her, the oversized hoodie making her look younger, more vulnerable. "Tell me about your clan," I said. "What happened?" She cradled the mug in both hands, staring into the steam. "The Silverwind clan has existed for over 1,000 years. We're watchers. We maintain balance between the spirit world and the human world, but we're also expected to have perfect control over our abilities. I'm the youngest, and She paused, her ears drooping. "I couldn't master the fog technique. When I got emotional, the mist would respond, sometimes covering entire valleys. They said I was too dangerous to keep." "How old are you?" I asked carefully. 23 in human years. Still very young for a fox spirit." She took a sip of tea. "They sent me away 3 days ago. I've been wandering since then, trying to figure out what to do. Tonight, I couldn't hold it in anymore. All the grief and fear came out, and the fog came with it. And that's when I found you." "That's when you chose me," she corrected, looking at me with those luminous amber eyes. The guardian bond only forms when someone acts selflessly toward a spirit in distress. You could have walked away. Most would have, but you didn't. I set my mug down. I'm glad I didn't. Kaya shifted closer, close enough that our knees touched. "Renjiro," she said softly, "there's something else about the bond I need to tell you. It's not just emotional. It's also physical." My mouth went dry. "Physical how?" "Fox spirits mate for life," she explained, a blush creeping across her cheeks. "The guardian bond is similar. It's meant to be permanent, intimate. As it strengthens, we'll become more attuned to each other's needs, all of them." The implications hung in the air between us. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying that eventually the bond will expect us to be together in every way," Kaya finished, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's ancient magic. It doesn't understand modern boundaries or slow courtship. It just knows that you're mine now, and I'm yours." I should have felt trapped, overwhelmed. Instead, looking at her, this beautiful, broken creature who'd been abandoned by everyone she'd ever known, I just felt a fierce protectiveness rising in my chest. "What if I want that?" I asked. Her breath caught. "What?" "What if I want to be yours?" I reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and cupped her face in my hand. "Would that be so terrible?" Kaya's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "You barely know me." "Then let's fix that," I said simply. "We have time." She leaned into my touch, and I felt the bond pulse between us, a living thing, warm and insistent. "You really mean that?" she breathed, reading the sincerity in my emotions through our connection. Every word. Kaya stayed close to me the rest of that evening, as if afraid I might disappear if she let me out of her sight. We talked for hours, about her life in the mountains, about my mundane job and ordinary existence, about the strangeness of fate bringing us together. The more she opened up, the more I felt the bond between us strengthening, like invisible threads weaving tighter. Around midnight, exhaustion finally caught up with both of us. I offered her my bed while I took the couch, but she looked distressed at the suggestion. "The bond is still new," she explained quietly, her ears lowering. "Being separated even by a room will make it ache, for both of us." "What are you suggesting?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I'm suggesting we stay close. Just close. Nothing has to happen. I just need to feel that you're there." I understood what she was trying to say. The bond was literal. It thrived on proximity, on connection. Denying it wouldn't make it go away. It would just cause us both discomfort. "Okay," I agreed. "We'll figure it out." In my bedroom, Kaya hesitated again at the edge of the bed, her tail twitching nervously. She looked incredibly small in my oversized hoodie, her silver hair falling over one shoulder. "I've never done this before," she admitted. "Shared a bed with someone." "We don't have to—" "No," she interrupted softly. "I want to. I'm nervous." I climbed into bed first, leaving plenty of space. "Come here," I said gently. She slipped under the covers, keeping a careful distance between us at first, but within minutes I felt her inch closer, drawn by the invisible pull of the bond. Her hand found mine in the darkness, fingers interlacing. "Is this okay?" she whispered. "Yes," I assured her, squeezing her hand gently. Kaya moved closer still, until her head rested against my shoulder, her fox ears tickling my chin. I could feel her heartbeat, rapid at first, then gradually slowing as she relaxed into the warmth and safety of the moment. Her tail draped across my leg, soft as silk. "Rinjiro?" she murmured after a while. "Hmm? Thank you for not being afraid of me." I shifted so I could see her face in the dim light filtering through the window. "I'm not afraid of you, Kaya. I'm amazed by you." Her eyes glistened. "No one's ever said that to me before." "Then they were fools." She smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from her, and something in my chest constricted at how it transformed her features. Before I could overthink it, I leaned down and pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead. Kaya's breath hitched, and through the bond, I felt a surge of emotion so intense it made my head spin. Longing, desire, affection, all tangled together. Her hand tightened in mine. "Kaya?" I asked, concerned. "Are you okay?" "The bond," she breathed, her voice trembling. "It's reacting to your affection. I can feel how much you—" She trailed off, her cheeks flushing deeply. "How much I what?" She met my eyes, vulnerable and wanting. "How much you want me? Not just emotionally, physically. I can feel every thought, every desire you're trying to keep controlled." Heat flooded my face. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to—" "Don't apologize," she whispered, shifting even closer. "Because I feel the same way." The air between us grew charged. Kaya's hand released mine and moved to my chest, feeling my heart hammering beneath her palm. "The bond wants us together," she said softly. "It's been growing stronger all evening, and I don't want to fight it anymore." "We don't have to rush," I managed, though my body was screaming the opposite. "I'm not rushing," Kaya said, her amber eyes darkening with something primal. "Fox spirits know their mates immediately. The moment you offered me your jacket, I knew. The bond just confirmed what my heart already understood." She leaned up, her face inches from mine. "Kiss me," she breathed. "Please." I didn't need to be asked twice. My lips found hers in the darkness, and the bond between us exploded with sensation. Kaya made a soft sound against my mouth, her fingers curling into my shirt as she pressed closer. The kiss deepened, grew more urgent, years of loneliness and abandonment, giving way to desperate need for connection. Kaya pulled back just enough to tug the hoodie over her head, revealing pale skin that seemed to glow faintly in the moonlight. Her fox ears flattened shyly as I stared, but her eyes held mine with unwavering certainty. "I want this," she whispered. "I want you." I pulled her back to me, capturing her mouth in another searing kiss as my hands explored the curves I'd only glimpsed before. She was soft and warm and responsive, gasping against my lips when I traced the sensitive skin behind her fox ears. Her tail wrapped around my waist, pulling me closer with surprising strength. "Rinjiro," she breathed between kisses, her voice husky with need. "The bond. It's guiding me, showing me what you need, what you want." "What am I thinking right now?" I asked, kissing along her jaw to her throat. She shuddered under my attention. "You're thinking about how beautiful I am, how much you want to make me feel safe, cherished, and, She paused, a moan escaping when I found a particularly sensitive spot at the base of her neck. "And how much you want to claim me completely." "Is that what you want too?" I asked against her skin. Her answer was to pull my shirt over my head and press her bare chest against mine. The skin-to-skin contact sent electricity through the bond, and we both gasped at the intensity. Kaya's hands roamed across my back, her touch tentative at first, but growing bolder as instinct took over. We shed the rest of our clothing slowly, taking time to explore each new revelation of skin, each response to touch. Kaya's body was a wonder, human in most ways, but with subtle differences that marked her as something more. Silver markings traced patterns along her ribs and hips, glowing faintly when I touched them. They're sensitivity marks, she explained breathlessly when I traced one with my finger. Touch them, and oh. Her words dissolved into a cry of pleasure as I followed the pattern with my lips. Her fox ears flattened completely against her head, and her tail thrashed against the sheets as sensation overwhelmed her. Through the bond, I could feel her pleasure echoing back to me, doubling my own. I can't. It's too much, Kaya panted, her hands gripping my shoulders. Do you want me to stop? I asked, though it took every ounce of willpower. No, she said fiercely, pulling me up to kiss me hard. I want everything. I want you inside me. I want the bond completed. I positioned myself between her legs, moving slowly, giving her body time to adjust. Kaya's eyes locked onto mine, and through the bond I felt everything she felt. The initial stretch, the fullness, the strange perfection of being joined this way. Yes, she breathed as I began to move. Yes, like that. Don't stop. Our rhythm built gradually, each movement strengthening the bond between us. The guardian mark on my hand blazed with golden light, and answering marks appeared on Kaya's skin. The same intricate patterns, proof that we were truly bound now in every possible way. Kaya's pleasure spiraled through me, feeding my own, creating a feedback loop of sensation that threatened to overwhelm us both. Her nails dug into my back as she arched beneath me, her fox ears pressed flat, her tail wrapped so tightly around my leg I could barely move it. Renjiro, she gasped. I can't. Let go, I urged, feeling my own control slipping. I've got you. She shattered with a cry that might have been my name, her whole body trembling as pleasure crashed through her. The bond transmitted every wave of her orgasm directly to me, and I followed her over the edge, burying myself deep as my own release hit. For a moment, the room filled with light, the golden glow of the guardian bond blazing so brightly I had to close my eyes. I felt Kaya's presence not just around me but inside me, woven so thoroughly into my being that I couldn't tell where she ended, and I began. When the light faded, we collapsed together, breathing hard, hearts racing in sync. Kaya's arms wrapped around me, holding me close as tremors of aftershock rippled through both our bodies. The bond is complete, she whispered, awe in her voice. I can feel you everywhere, Renjiro. In my heart, my mind, my soul. You're part of me now. I rolled to the side, taking her with me so she could rest against my chest. Her fox ears twitched contentedly, and her tail draped across both our legs like a blanket. I feel it too, I admitted, stroking her silver hair. It's like you've always been there, and I just didn't know I was missing you. Kaya tilted her head up to look at me, her amber eyes glowing with contentment and something deeper. You walked into the fog as a stranger, she said softly, echoing what she'd told me earlier. But you walked out as my chosen one. And you walked out as mine, I replied, kissing her forehead gently. She smiled, that transformative smile that made my heart skip, and snuggled closer. My clan will be furious when they find out. A guardian bond hasn't formed in 300 years. They'll think I did something forbidden. Let them think what they want, I said firmly. You're not going back to people who abandoned you. No, Kaya agreed quietly. I'm not. I'm staying right here, with you, for as long as you'll have me. Forever then, I said simply. Her ears perked up. Forever? The bond is permanent, isn't it? You said fox spirits mate for life. Well, so do I now, apparently. I cupped her face in my hand. I choose you, Kaya. Today, tomorrow, every day after that. Tears spilled down her cheeks, but they were happy ones this time. I choose you too, she whispered. My guardian, my mate, my home. We fell asleep tangled together, the guardian marks on our skin glowing softly in the darkness. Proof that sometimes the best things in life are found in the most unexpected places. All it takes is the courage to stop and listen when someone cries out in the fog. And the wisdom to offer your jacket to a foxwoman kneeling in the mist,